Sector report. Very well. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. What an incredible day it is this morning, and what a beautiful morning, and what a memorable place to be. We want to welcome you all for joining us this morning. Thank you for coming here. It's so good to see everybody in person. Families, friends, distinguished guests, we want to thank you for joining us today for an incredibly momentous moment and a unique occasion during which we will be conducting two ceremonies. First, the Sector Los Angeles Long Beach change of command, and followed by Captain Rebecca Orr's promotion to Rear Admiral. My name is Commander Stephen Bohr, and I am the Sector Los Angeles Long Beach Prevention Department Head, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies this morning. Before the ceremony begins, I ask that all communication devices, small children, junior officers, please be placed on silent mode for the duration of this ceremony. For military members and members in uniform, please remain covered throughout the ceremonies until the very end, at which we will relinquish that. Retired military personnel not in uniform are authorized to salute. Please follow my lead for all salutes. For our civilian guests, the appropriate protocol today is to place your hand over your heart during the playing and the singing, in fact, of our national anthem. Please also follow my directions as to when to stand and when to be seated. Good morning once again, Admiral Penoyer, good morning, and distinguished guests, family and friends of Captain Orr and Captain Manning, welcome and thank you for attending today. The change of command ceremony is a formal, time-honored tradition of the seagoing services that formally restates the continuity of command for the officers and the crew. The ceremony is unique in the world today. Having no counterpart in business or civilian government, it is a formal ritual conducted before the assembled company of the command, which serves as a visible symbol of the transfer of responsibility of authority from one individual to another. The change of command is also an opportunity to recognize and celebrate the many friendships and successes where we share with the surrounding community. I would like to recognize a number of distinguished guests and dignitaries here with us prior to beginning the ceremony this morning. First, we would like to extend a very special welcome to the family and friends of Captain Rebecca Orr, her mom Belinda, and her brother Rob, his wife Beth, and their children, Miriam, David, and Ben. Thank you for being with us this morning. A warm welcome to Captain Orr's extended family on Zoom land. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us virtually. The family and friends of Captain Ryan Manning, thank you for being with us. First, the captain's wife, Carrie Ann, good morning, ma'am. Their children, Maggie and Dane, thank you for being with us. And his father, Jim, thank you for being with us, sir. His brothers, Kelly, Regan, his sister, Kate, Aunt Angela, and Aunt Stephanie, good morning. We are privileged to have a number of distinguished guests attending today's ceremony. First and foremost, Vice Admiral retired Peter Neffinger, United States Coast Guard. Thank you for joining us, Vice Admiral. Rear Admiral Andy Sugimoto, United States Coast Guard, soon to be the District 11 Commander. Rear Admiral Errol Brown, United States Coast Guard, retired. Rear Admiral Keith Taylor, United States Coast Guard, retired. Colonel Becky Beers, United States Space Force, Los Angeles Garrison Commander. I know you're online, Dr. Kara Tardevel, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Maritime Co-Lead. Commander Lisa Sharkey, Commanding Officer, United States Coast Guard, Base Los Angeles, Long Beach, and all of the commanding officers and officers in charge of all the units in Southern California here. We also welcome Executive Director of the Port of Hueneme, Kristen Dekas, the Executive Director of the Port of Long Beach, Mario Cordero, and representing the Port of Los Angeles, Chief Tom Gazy from the Los Angeles Port Police. Good morning, sir. We recognize FBI Special Agent in Charge, Amir Ashai, Customs and Border Protection Director of Field Operations, Mr. Carlos Martel, Customs and Border Protection Director of Air and Marine Operations, San Diego, Brandon Tucker, and Fire Chiefs of LAFD, Long Beach Fire Department, and Ventura County, Chief Ronnie Villanueva, Chief Paul Alvarado, and Chief Gene Fong. We want to recognize the President, West Region of the USO, Bob Kirkjian, and Executive Director of the Bob Hope USO, former Sector Commander of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, and Captain of the Port, Captain Charlene Downey, retired. We also welcome those folks who are with us, those partners who are with us from the LA County Sheriffs. We want to recognize those who have served as veterans of the United States Armed Forces. For you, we thank you for your service. We recognize our DHS partners, our law enforcement and public safety partners, our maritime industry officials, members of the Coast Guard Foundation and Navy League, the dedicated volunteers of the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and all community leaders joining us today. Thank you for joining us on a wonderful, wonderful morning. Today, Captain Rebecca Orr will relinquish command of Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles Long Beach to Captain Ryan Manning. The change of command takes place after the reading of orders and is immediately reported to the presiding official. Already joining us on stage for the change of command is Lieutenant Jared Payne, U.S. Navy Chaplain Corps, and the Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles Long Beach Chaplain. Now, will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party, and please remain standing for the presentation of colors, our national anthem, to be sung by Coast Guard MK1 Gallagher, and the invocation. Military guests, please remain covered and follow my lead for salutes. Now, Captain, United States Coast Guard, arriving. Now, Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, arriving. Now, Commander, 11th District, arriving. And salute. Ready, two. Color guard, present the colors. And salute. Now, MK1, Mike Gallagher will sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Color guard, post the colors. Ready, two. Chaplain Payne will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Dear God, we gather together on this momentous occasion to celebrate the leadership of Rebecca and to enter into a new era where Ryan begins to lead this sector. Guide us this day that we can have spirit of peace and determination in recognizing these accomplishments, looking for lessons of inspiration that we can take from this, and allowing us the opportunity to give thanks for the service that has been rendered. Stay with us this day, and this we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Payne. Guests, please be seated. An inspection of the unit is a tradition for the military change of command. Captain Orr will now invite Captain Manning to join her on an inspection of the Sector Los Angeles Long Beach Honor Platoon. The Honor Platoon this morning is led by Lieutenant Commander Brian Sattler. Platoon Commander, prepare the Honor Platoon for inspection. Lieutenant Commander Sattler, please instruct the crew to fall out and take their seats for the remainder of the ceremony. Secretary, you may be seated. It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce the presiding official for today's ceremony, Commander 11th District, Rear Admiral Brian Penoyer. Admiral Penoyer assumed the duties of Commander 11th Coast Guard District in July of 2020, and he oversees the district's—
Okay.
Aye, Admiral.
They know and they don't care, right?
Aye, sir.
God bless you, Stephen. Hey, good morning, everybody. Master of Ceremonies has covered it adequately, but what an amazing, yet another amazing day here in Los Angeles, Long Beach. You know, it's just like this up in San Francisco, except like 30 degrees colder and with fog. So it's always a privilege to come down here. Before we go any further, though, how about a round of applause for MK1 Dallinger, huh? Unbelievable. So you can imagine what it's like on reserve drill weekend, right? With that voice, sign me up. Let me just talk for a few minutes, if you don't mind, about the significance of today's change of command ceremony. I have to thank you for sharing your time with us here today and participating in today's ceremony. I think you've heard already a little bit about this sea service tradition going back at least hundreds of years. Some people say much further. But I would encourage you to take note that this is not pomp and circumstance event. This is not just a formality of our sea service opportunity to wear these incredibly comfortable white uniforms. What you're involved in here today is a deadly serious matter of life and death. The origin of this ceremony dates to the age of sail. And I'll ask you for a moment to put yourself, if you can, into the world of a sailor hundreds of years ago. In those days, a sailor would join a ship in the sea service, and that assignment was for a career. The average sailor did not shift ships as we do now. Their crew was their world. And if you can then project the sort of work that they were doing, it's trite to simply say it was dangerous work in a dangerous environment. It was deadly work. It was heavy work, close to the sea, manual labor. And the simple fact that was that even the slightest misjudgment, the slightest lack of unity, the slightest confusion or working at cross purposes put each crewman's life in danger. To shift sail improperly at the wrong time in a gale not only hazarded your life, working the mast, it hazarded the entire ship. The crew had to have absolute faith and confidence in the orders they were being given by the commanding officer. That person had to have a perfect read of the weather and of the mission. And so deep had to be the trust that the crew would obey the orders given instantly. Mistimed order risked the ship. So in this environment, I ask you to project yourself now. Orders then came from the Sea Service headquarters, from the Admiralty or other. Not as they do today. There was no telecommunication. Orders came by way of a sloop or at a port call, where an officer that you had never met, that you did not know, reported aboard and claimed to be taking command of the vessel because the incumbent commanding officer was needed elsewhere in the service. And in that environment, today's change of command was born. Out of the deadly need for the transfer of absolute authority, accountability, and responsibility from one person to another. And as part of that, the transfer of faith and confidence from one to another. As you're about to hear in a few moments, when the exchange of salutes are given, all eyes will shift from Captain Orr to Captain Manning, because then, as now, Coast Guardsmen are doing dangerous work in a dangerous environment. Then, as now, lives are in the hands of the commanding officer. Then, as now, absolute faith and confidence of the crew in the command was necessary. But unlike the distant past, the role of the sea service has evolved over time. And we see ourselves now as part of a much larger and greater team, part of a family here in Southern California. And so today you are not simply attending a pomp and circumstance ceremony. You are participating in that same transfer of trust and confidence from one sector commander to the next. So thank you. Thank you for being here. So we're going to talk a little bit in a moment and embarrass her tremendously about the accomplishments of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach under Captain Orr's tenure. And then when we her success, as I do, and as many, if not, you are listening to the good commander read the formalities and a list of accomplishments. She will be behind the presentation awards, snickering and laughing to me, essentially saying something to the effect of, "I didn't do any of that. Master Chief did that, and Commander so-and-so did the other, and boy, that was really station fill in the blank, and the ant team, that was them, that wasn't me. The VTS and the Marine, it'll just go on and on. And you know, essentially, you know, it's all true. It wasn't her. She didn't do those things. But if you know Rebecca, you also know the truth of this statement. Leadership matters. And so, as you hear her accomplishments listed, and as you hear her snickering about how she didn't do those things, I'll ask you to bear in mind that it's her leadership that created the space in which this unit could succeed. And beyond that, it is her leadership that created the space that catalyzed the success of this entire team. This team of law enforcement, emergency management, Homeland Security, and national defense here in Southern California. And Rebecca, as you hear these accomplishments listed, I'll ask you to wear that award with pride, knowing that your contribution was the leadership that created that space. Beyond that, I would simply leave you with this about Captain Orr. The most important thing you can know about her will not be in the award. The most important thing I could acknowledge here today is actually printed on the pages of your virtual program. Thanks for the QR codes. Appreciate that. Right on, Taylor. So if you were to thumb through your iPhone, don't do that. You would see Captain Orr's guiding principles. And for those of us that have known her long before she got this fancy white uniform and sector command, you'll know that this is about as authentic a personal statement as you could possibly make. There was nothing cooked up for command here. This isn't the product of some finishing school for prospective sector commanders. This is about as true a statement of who she is as I have ever seen. And I'm just going to quote a couple of points. In her guiding principle, she says, service is bigger than self. She says, excellence is our brand, but humility is our guide. So hearing those points, if you didn't know this already, they point to Captain Orr's secret superpower. Her superpower is the ability to connect authentically and to care personally at a level that is rare in life, much less in service. So turning to Captain Manning for a moment, you're about to hear a laundry list of accomplishments of this amazing command and its subordinate commands and its partners and its community. And you've just heard perhaps a hint of, I think, what we all know to be true about your predecessor. So if you're in your right mind, you're a little intimidated right now. And into this intimidating environment sails a proud member of the great seafaring state of South Dakota. As a guy from Illinois, I'm always happy to see that. There's a state with less waterfront than mine. Well done. But Ryan, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you on board. For one thing, he had the good judgment, like I did, to marry a Wisconsin gal. So, you know, Badgers unite. Carrie Ann, well done. Thank you for reforming him, and you've done a great job. If you don't know Captain Manning, and if you haven't yet had a chance to iPhone your detailed and extraordinarily Coast Guard boring biography of him, let me just summarize for you. This is an amazingly strong leader with deep history here in Los Angeles, dating back to the active. Repeated tours. And if that weren't enough to prepare him for this global hub of intermodal commerce, for this environmental gem, for this vibrant 10+ million person region, Captain Manning served leading the entire Coast Guard with port, cargo, and international security, where he devised the very systems that we use today to manage all of the events that you'll soon hear listed as we embarrass Captain Orr. But wait, there's more. Into this environment sails Coast Guard captain, vetted in command in Europe. Ryan, your anxiety, of course, is completely natural, completely understandable. And all I can say to you is this: please know as you assume command that this is your moment. Your entire career has prepared you for today. You have been repeatedly scrutinized, tested, and vetted for this purpose. And I have absolute confidence in you. Please know that as you assume command, I expect and I demand of you your best military advice, because I will assign you more than you can possibly accomplish, even with this amazing crew. And I need you to exercise the judgment that we have trained and developed in you for a career, to assess the risk involved, and tell me what you can't get done and where you need help. In that process, you will inherently be taking warranted risk in some areas to address emerging risk in others. And I want you to know that I absolutely have your back in that endeavor. I could not be happier than to have you on board. So, as I wrap up my remarks before we get to the public shaming, yes, I'll just take two last privileges to briefly address the two families that are here today. Too often at these ceremonies, we fail to acknowledge the burden that we place on you as your loved ones serve in command. And on your way out and on your way in, you're expected to smile and applaud. But in your heart is the stress, the anxiety about what we have asked your loved ones to do, and you're concerned for them. We ask a lot of them on behalf of the nation. We ask even more of you. So as they assume their respective positions on the podium, let me just say thank you for your selfless contribution to our nation during these command tours, which are so very heavily worn and which you make look so easy for them. Ryan, I'm going to give you one order and one order only as you assume command. Simple to say and hard to do. Take care of these units and these people as Rebecca has done, and they will take care of you as they took care of her. Commander Bohr, please, let's get to the public embarrassment.
Captain Orr, can you join Admiral Penoyer so that we can recognize you with a formal award? Will our guests please rise? Military personnel, attention to award. Citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit to Captain Rebecca Orr, United States Coast Guard. Captain Orr is cited for outstanding meritorious service as commander, Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach, California, from May 2020 to June 2022. Leading 1,600 personnel across 13 units, she ensured the vitality of one of the busiest maritime gateways in the nation, governing over 64,000 square miles of Pacific Ocean. She safeguarded the uninterrupted flow of maritime commerce in the world's 9th largest container port complex, which handles $500 billion in cargo each year, 40% of the nation's containerized goods, and 50% of California's bulk liquid movement each year. A champion of mission excellence, she led teams to save or assist 393 persons in distress and remove $4 million of illicit drugs, including the largest maritime methamphetamine interdiction in U.S. history. Displaying extraordinary service to nation, she led a 1,800-member unified command comprised of federal, state, and local stakeholders responding to a major pipeline oil spill with a potential release of 150,000 gallons of oil into the waters of Southern California and Mexico. Leading the first Type 1 hybrid incident management team, her integration of stakeholders, transparent communications, and response strategies resulted in the removal of 6,000 gallons of oil and 500,000 pounds of oil debris from 80 miles of coastline while protecting the health and well-being of responders. Serving during a period of dramatic whole-of-government change, she led a team that created a national standard for the management of cruise and cargo vessels with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention during the COVID-19 pandemic. Further, she exercised crucial leadership in reducing the nation's record-breaking vessel congestion, ensuring resilience of the maritime transportation system, ever mindful of the value of diversity, equity, and inclusion. She embraced and led numerous unit and service-wide fora, providing opportunities for personal growth. Captain Orr's ability, diligence, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. Another round of applause. Yes, we ask that you please remain standing. Admiral Penoyer will now present the Coast Guard Unit Commendation to the crew of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach. So we invite Lieutenant Commander Jay Hagwood, Mr. Rich Yazbek, SK1 Kyle Nestor, and MST3 Vo to the stage. Please join the Admiral on the stage. The Commandant of the United States Coast Guard takes pleasure in presenting the Coast Guard Unit Commendation to U.S. Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, San Pedro, California. Military members, attention to award. Citation: for exceptionally meritorious service from August 2019 to March 2022, while ensuring the safety and security of mariners along more than 350 miles of coastline, including the nation's largest container port complex. Displaying extraordinary service to the nation, Sector Los Angeles Long Beach led a 1,800-member unified command of federal, state, and local stakeholders responding to an oil spill with a potential release of 150,000 gallons of oil off Huntington Beach, California. This $5 million federal response marked the first Type 1 oil response that implemented a hybrid incident management team and leveraged virtual response personnel to maintain the health and safety of responders during an international pandemic. The seamless integration of stakeholders, transparent communications with the public, and effective response strategies resulted in 144 barrels of oil recovered and 500,000 pounds of oil debris removed from 80 miles of pristine Southern California coastline stretching from Orange County, California to northern Mexico. Leading a multi-agency team of investigators, Sector exhibited extraordinary expertise and dedication in identifying two commercial vessels that dragged anchor over the pipeline, leading to a national review of anchorage management and marine spatial planning oversight. Sector Los Angeles Long Beach worked in partnership with the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention to develop a national standard for the management of cruise and cargo vessels during the COVID-19 pandemic. Simultaneously faced with a record-breaking cargo vessel backlog, Sector exercised the power of convening to enable an industry-led solution to the nation's record-breaking vessel congestion and ease critical hazards to the marine transportation system. Demonstrating exceptional crisis leadership, Sector Los Angeles Long Beach responded to the motor vessel conception fire off the coast of Santa Cruz Island, which was the nation's worst maritime disaster in 30 years. The sector established a unified command to lead 50 multi-agency response agencies, account for all 34 victims, and complete vessel salvage operations. Lessons learned led to Coast Guard-wide improvement of the small passenger vessel inspection program. Integrating federal, state, and local partners in the execution of maritime law enforcement, alien and drug smugglers, the seizure of 10,386 kilograms of narcotics and 14,664 pounds of marijuana, including the largest maritime methamphetamine interdiction in U.S. history. The professionalism, pride, and devotion to duty displayed by Sector Los Angeles Long Beach are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. The operational distinguishing device is authorized for the Commandant, Michael McAllister, Vice Admiral, U.S. Coast Guard Commander, Coast Guard Pacific Area. Yes, you may now be seated.
Commander Boer, I'm going to call an audible here. I realized as I was listening to the award that I had done a poor job as presiding official of setting the stage for the significance of this award. And Admiral Neffinger, having presided over many of these such ceremonies, I hope you'll join me in explaining to folks that the award that you just heard read is unusual. It's an extremely high award and is not typically part of a change of command ceremony. The award of the unit commendation in this particular setting reflects the record 3 years that we've just had. And for Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, it began before the pandemic. It was turned up to volume 11 during the pandemic, and it never let up since then. While the rest of the nation sort of metered back down to a dull roar, Sector LA Long Beach remained in the highest gear. So as you consider the awards that were presented to a non-military audience, they may seem a routine part of the formalities here today. And I will simply close by saying they are not. They are reflective of an extraordinary unit, an extraordinary commanding officer during an extraordinary period of our American history. So please join me in a round of applause once more for Sector LA Long Beach and Captain Rebecca Orr.
Thank you so much, Admiral Penoyer. May you please be seated. Now we'd like to turn to our gift-giving portion of the ceremony today. And on behalf of the crew of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, we would like to provide Captain Orr with 2 gifts from the command, signifying our appreciation for your inspirational leadership. So Taylor, Taylor's over there. Taylor, will you please join me? And Captain Orr, would you mind joining us in the front of the stage, please, right on the stage? This is going to take a little bit of explaining. What Lieutenant J.G. Hightower is presenting Captain Orr with is a personalized portrait painted by Lieutenant J.G. retired Erica Honda, who built everything from scratch, including the frame, of Captain Orr with her signature ice cream scoop. Because Captain Orr, if you don't know the ice cream socials, I know Chief Gazy, you've been to them. The ice cream social is Captain Orr's thing. Back, you'll see ships from the traffic congestion, each named after a stakeholder group that Captain Orr has led. We have the Huntington Beach oil spill, as well as Space Captain Orr, because we've got the Falcon 9 rocket flying overhead. So Captain Orr, on behalf of the A-Team, we'd like to present you with this portrait. We ask that all the partners and Coast Guard sector members and all the guests here who haven't had an opportunity to sign something for Captain Orr to take a moment after the ceremony to sign the frame. There are pens over here on this table. So before you leave, we ask that you make your mark and say farewell to Captain Orr for her leadership. And we also have, on behalf of the crew, but wait, there's more. Senior Chief Blas, would you come and present the gift to Captain Orr on behalf of the Chief Petty Officers Association? Or not just the Chief Petty Officers Association, I apologize, the Chief's Mess. Chief Blas is our resident artist and he makes incredible things. So thank you so much, Senior Chief Blas. Now, will our guests please rise? Now, Captain Orr will read her orders. Military members, attention to orders.
From Commander Coast Guard Personnel Service Center to Captain Rebecca Orr, United States Coast Guard, subject orders. Upon relief of duties as the Commander Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, proceed and report for duty as Assistant Commandant for Intelligence.
Now, Captain Manning will read his orders.
From Commander, Coast Guard Personnel Service Center to Captain Ryan Manning, United States Coast Guard. Orders, new assignment. Detach upon completion as assignment as Commander, Coast Guard Activities Europe, and report duty as Commander, Sector Los Angeles Long Beach.
Yes, you may please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce Captain Ryan Manning, Commander, Coast Guard Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach.
So I know I'm supposed to be really short because I'm the inbound guy, but there's a lot of familiar faces in the crowd. And when you've been to a place 3 times, that's what happens. To include Admiral Neffinger, thanks for coming, sir. To Admiral Taylor and Admiral Brown, other members of the Coast Guard Flag and SES Corps that are joining us virtually, because soon to be Admiral Orr is so good about doing those kind of things. Our other distinguished guests, Corps partners, family, friends, and last but certainly not least, the crew of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach. Thank you all for attending the ceremony and for your continued support of this command. Penoyer, all I could say is thank you so much for your trust, guidance, and those watchwords for me as I carry out this new role at a unit that's has some very strategic, important missions in the southern end of your AOR. Admiral Sugimoto, who's about to assume command on Friday, I look forward to working with you. To our local, state, and federal stakeholders, I pledge my commitment and that of Sector Los Angeles Long Beach to continue working in partnership with you for the safety and security of this, not only this port complex, but our entire area of responsibility spanning from Morro Bay down to San Clemente. To Rebecca, and I have to call you by your first name because I think in about 10 minutes, your new name will still have 7 letters, but it will start with an A and with an L. Thank you for the exemplary leadership that you have instilled throughout this command and for your wise counsel you have provided me over the last several months leading up to this day. It's obvious that your guiding influence and your leadership team has directly contributed to the many mission, training, and readiness successes that this unit has experienced over the last 4 years. As you travel east to Washington, D.C., I wish you all the best and safe travels that will surely be another exciting, challenging, and successful assignments. To the previous captain of the ports that served in my previous 2 assignments here, those being John Holmes, Admiral Neffinger, Roger LaFerrier, Jim Jenkins, and Jen Williams. Thank you for establishing such a high bar for me to try to meet. And I know that that time that I saw you serving in this job prepared me well for this. To the crew of the Sector Los Angeles Long Beach, I'm proud, humbled, and excited beyond words of being so fortunate to be able to be working with such dedicated, talented, and professional Coast Guard women and men such as yourself. I pledge to you my commitment in providing the leadership, transparency, and resources required to ensure we execute Admiral Fagg and our 27th Commandant's vision of transforming our turtle workforce, sharpening our competitive edge, and advancing safe and effective mission excellence. As you as Coast Guard women and men selflessly continue to serve with honor, respect, and devotion, I am totally committed to your professional development and, most importantly, the well-being of yourself and your families. And to emphasize the last point of families, please indulge me for a minute or two as I recognize the sacrifice and support of my family here today. They're the reason why I stand before you as a new sector commander. My wife, Carrie Ann. Our first Coast Guard move as a married couple was here to Marine Safety Office Group, Los Angeles, Long Beach in 2002. She sacrificed her career in support of mine through the countless military moves over the past 22 years. Thank you. To Maggie, our daughter, who was born in 2005 prior to us leaving this beautiful place, and just before we departed to another place where Dane was born. Maggie began kindergarten the second time they were here in Los Angeles, Long Beach, and to come full circle, she'll be a junior this fall at Huntington Beach Edison High School. I know our new D11 commander, Admiral Sugimoto, is a Huntington Beach High grad, so I know there's a little bit of rivalry there. Maggie's actually going to Huntington Beach High in the afternoons in the Academy of Performing Arts, so she's hitting both ends. And finally, Dane, who's endured 7 military moves despite him only being 14 years old. This is what military family sacrifice looks like. So not only is my immediate family here, but my father, sister, both brothers, along with their families, have traveled long distances to be here with me today. I'm lucky to have such a loving and supporting family. I will attribute that to our mother. While she passed away 24 years ago, I'm certain that she has been my guardian angel through my Coast Guard journey. And she's looking down on us right now. And while she isn't here today, her 2 sisters are. And so my Aunt Angie came up from San Diego this morning. Her husband, Dwayne, really would like to have been here, but he's got some health issues right now. And then my mom's younger sister, Stephanie, and her husband, Felix, are here. While they currently live in Ranchos Palos Verdes, they actually were living on 23rd, just north of Gaffey in San Pedro, when I came through LA Gate in September of 1994 on the Coast Guard Cutter Active. And while I was probably below decks in the engine room, I can remember Steph and Felix picking me up and going up to their house and kind of looking down on this port complex. And I can't tell you that I would have ever thought that 28 years later, I'd be standing on this stage. So thank you so much for all that support. We also have a handful of friends and Carrie Ann's former coworkers that are here from Huntington Beach as well. And while Carrie Ann and I are from South Dakota and Wisconsin, they definitely have made us feel like family as they've welcomed us into their community. To everyone, I'm honored and privileged to serve this great Coast Guard unit and the port community. God bless America and Semper Paratus. Captain Bernstein, all standing orders, regulations, and instructions remain in effect. Commander Bohr, proceed with the frocking ceremony.
Aye, Captain. This now concludes our change of command ceremony. We now begin the frocking ceremony. Admiral Penoyer, again introducing, will preside over today's ceremony.
I'll
Now,
steal
frocking.
a line from Admiral Neffinger. All previous salutations and greetings remain in effect.
Absolutely. Now turning the floor over to Admiral Penoyer.
I'll begin with an apology. You have to hear me twice. But today's a special day, and I'm really honored to be here and to be part of the promotion for not only a colleague and longstanding, but I consider a friend. Rebecca, it's truly a privilege to be here for you today. Hey, listen, let me put into context for you just very briefly what this promotion means in the United States Coast Guard. If you casually visit the Navy History and Heritage Command website, they will tell you that the word admiral is derived from an Arabic phrase, and I'll get it horribly mangled here, but Amir al-Bahr, meaning commander of the seas. It dates the 11th century, and it was a term that did not exist in the West, but as Sicilians and Genoese navies encountered the Arabic-speaking nations on the then center of the universe, the Mediterranean Sea, they adopted this term to refer to those who commanded not just a ship, but the entire force at sea, what we would now call a squadron or a fleet. It was rapidly expanded to those ashore who had particularly significant duties, equivalent to that of a fleet commander. And to give you a sense of the significance within our service, you can roughly assume our Coast Guard is somewhere in the neighborhood of 53,000 active duty military and civilian employees at any given moment, and with an additional 6,000 to 8,000, because we're growing, reservists, and another several tens of thousands of auxiliarists serving at any given moment. And of this, I will simply quote the statute, which defines the limitations on the number of serving flag officers or admirals in the United States Coast Guard. 0.375% may serve at this rank. There are 18 of them in the United States Coast Guard, and today Rebecca joins that number. And I'll conclude this hopefully framing for the advancement, the promotion today, by saying, as I began, that this is a position reserved for those who take on particularly important duties. Although I'm breaking confidence and trust by doing so, I'll reveal to you that Rebecca and I had a brief conversation. She called me after receiving news and of her pending nomination, which is for those of us in the Coast Guard, is shortly followed by a very, very weird personal email from the Vice Commandant of the Coast Guard saying, "So what do you think you're good for? What job would I possibly employ somebody like you for? Please suggest to me what you think you're good for." It's a very strange email, is it not? So Rebecca called me. She said, "What is the correct response?" And I said, "Well, of course, the correct response is whatever you think, sir, ma'am, whatever you think, I'd be happy to do that." But Rebecca being Rebecca, of course, that was not her. Rebecca really deliberated. And it says everything you need to know about her and about this promotion, that from that instant, she immediately said to me, "I think I want to take on the hardest, most impactful job I can think of. I think I want to be the director of intelligence." That's Rebecca. That's the role that she's assuming. And if you get an opportunity to get a sense of that job, I'd encourage you to spend a moment with my good friend, Admiral Andy Sugimoto, who currently fills that job and who has served not just the nation, but in particular California so brilliantly in that position over the last 3 years. Talk to Andy and get a sense of what Rebecca's about to embark upon, and you will have a sense of the significance of this moment for her and for the next many years for the Coast Guard. I have never been so optimistic for our service for so many reasons. Rebecca, the baton passes to you to further sharpen our competitive edge. You're going to be stepping into some big shoes there. But if there's one human being I think can do it, it's you. So Commander, let's get on with this and get her promoted as quick as possible.
Aye, Admiral. I now welcome Belinda, Captain Orr's mother, Rob, Captain Orr's brother, and Miriam, Captain Orr's niece, to the stage. Will our guests please rise? Military members, attention to frocking. And cover to mirror. To all who shall see these presents greetings. Know ye that reposing special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, and fidelity and abilities of Rebecca Orr, I do appoint this officer to the grade of Rear Admiral Lower Half in the United States Coast Guard to rank as such from the 21st day of June in the year 2022. This officer will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of the office to which appointed by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto belonging. And I do strictly charge and require those officers and other personnel of lesser rank to render such obedience as is due an officer of this grade and position. And this officer is to observe and follow such orders and directions from time to time as may be given by me or the future President of the United States of America or other superior officers acting in accordance with the laws of the United States of America. Signed, Linda Fagan, Admiral, Commandant, United States Coast Guard. I'm going to pause for a picture moment. Please remain standing, Admiral Orr and Admiral Penoyer. Yes, you may now take your seats. Thank you, Marcus and Alexis. Admiral Penoyer will now administer the oath of office. Admiral Penoyer will now present Rear Admiral Orr with her personal flag. This one-star flag is a gift to Admiral Orr on behalf of the Office of the Commandant in appreciation for her leadership and service.
And she gets to fly that from her Audi, so it'll be great.
Distinguished guests, families, and friends, it is now my honor to introduce Rear Admiral Rebecca Orr, United States Coast Guard.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. This is awesome. And I did not do any of that stuff at all. Like, I did not do any of that stuff. So thank you all for being here. This is super just special and awesome. And you know, this morning I woke up and I'm like, is this gonna happen? Like, I don't know if this is gonna happen. And Admiral Errol Brown is here. He is my long-term mentor. I first worked for him in 2001, and he's been an amazing coach and mentor over many years. And you know, he was telling me about one of his change of commands, and he said, you know, you come in after the ceremony and the photo's gone. Your photo's gone on the command wall. And I was like, So I went to call into the morning brief this morning, which happens at 0800. It's a virtual
why we
brief.
can't
I'm
hear
like, gosh, the phone line must be down. Like,
Shoot,
what's going
message
on with the
gets
phone
stuck.
line? And I kept trying and I kept trying, and I'm like, it's got the 3 bars and it says AT&T or Verizon or whatever. And I'm like, what is going on? Then my email won't upload. And I'm like, why is my not uploading? And I was like, did they cut off my phone?
You too
already?
busy to hear us? Just
No, I'm still
Yeah.
gonna
And I
work.
was like, what? So I called back on my personal phone, and sure enough, I get into the morning brief, and I was like, they cut off my phone. It's time to go. This is actually happening. This is happening. So yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Reservation Point. I want to say first, right off the bat, there are about 100 volunteers, active duty, civilian, reserve, and
Nice.
auxiliary that made this gathering possible.
right.
Folks that were in all throughout the weekend and last Friday.
You wanna hear
Preparing
it,
for today's event and preparing for the reception that you will enjoy after this, I hope.
No, I know.
I
But I
really
want
want to also
hear
thank
it. Get
our
a good feel for it.
mighty, small but mighty change of command planning team. So Brett Losey, where
Promise
are
you.
you? Brett. He's running around doing something as a good change of command planning lead would be. So Brett Losey, Trevor Heath, Taylor Hightower, right there. Thank you all for what you did to make this possible. They have, on top of their everyday jobs, which are very consuming, they have spent hundreds of hours putting this together. And to our very, very talented master of ceremonies and the director of this production, Commander Stephen Bohr, thank you very much. And to our base command, there are actually several commands that sit here on Terminal Island, and our base command is a huge partner. They take care of all of our care and feeding. They're led by the amazing and talented Commander Lisa Sharkey, and I just want to thank the base for all their support for an event like this today. To our distinguished guests, our friends and family in the Zoom room, hi y'all, and here, thank you for being here to honor our team and our community. And to the members of Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach, near and far, thank you for being here. Thank you for all of your support these past 4 years. Welcome to you and your families. I believe our greatest gift is time, and our most important choice is how we choose to spend our time. We have many service members and veterans that are here with us today. Those who have taken the oath to support and defend our Constitution. And I want to say thank you to all who have served in all branches of our armed forces. Now, there is one important person and veteran in my journey that is not with us today, and that is my father. He passed away in January 2017, and it is 100% his fault that I am in the United States Coast Guard. He was a poor kid from West Virginia, a child of the Great Depression. His dad was a foreman at a chemical plant in Institute, West Virginia, and he lied about his age to join the US Marine Corps and get a better life. He took a train to Parris Island. He ended up being his first in his family to go to college, and he went on to be an entrepreneur, a successful businessman, and a public servant. And he never forgot his roots and the people he served. My dad was awesome, but we didn't always get along, especially when I was a teenager. And like I said, there is no way I would have ever been in the Coast Guard if it wasn't for my dad, because it was his idea. He would not leave me alone. I don't know if you remember this, Mom. He would not leave me alone about applying to the Coast Guard Academy. And I was like, I'm not going to do this. I don't want anything to do with it. And I finally applied, and I called my concession the father appeasement policy. And to my delight, I was actually rejected from the pre-summer camp program called AIM. And then I wasn't even accepted to the academy. I was an alternate. But somehow, I still landed in the Distinguished Coast Guard Academy class of 1997. And many of our classmates are here today and online. And in case you aren't aware, the Coast Guard Academy is not a lush New England summer camp. It is a full-blown federal military service academy. And I think there are at least 3 critical success factors that accompany the journey. It's the choice to attend, followed by a whole lot of grit and awesome classmates. And so to the entire class of 1997, I am proud of the amazing paths that you have all taken and the impact that each of you have had on this world in the spirit of service to community. So I want to also talk about the strong women in our lives. And I've got a lot of strong women in my life, but I want to talk about strong woman number 1. Hi, Mom. Thank you for being here. I don't know if all of you know this, but our family has lived all over the place. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll tell you I'm from nowhere. People tell me I should say everywhere. I could tell you a tale of living in Iran or Canada or India or Connecticut a couple times, most of those before I was 7 years old. And our mom has taken us all over the globe. And she is resilient, and she is my number 1 cheerleader. So Mom and we talk a lot. I talk a lot about our team. When my mom and I talk, you wanna know what I talk about to my mom about? I talk about our team. I talk about all of you. I'm just really excited to introduce all of you to my mom. So this is a team. It is a team of over 550 Coast Guard members and over 1,200 all-volunteer auxiliary force stationed throughout Central California, from Dana Point to San Luis Obispo. It is our 14 field and supporting commands, and it is our countless federal, state, local, industry, and non-governmental stakeholders, public safety professionals, first responders, and law enforcement officers. And it is the community that welcomes us Coasties with open arms to carry out the shared mission of maritime safety and security and the work of saving and protecting life. Our team is awesome. You guys are awesome. My brother is also here. I said to him on the stage, I'm going to embarrass you. And he said, bring it on. So, so some of you know my brother, Rob, and just like he put on my Admiral shoulder board a few minutes ago, he was a senior, a midshipman at the U.S. Naval Academy back in 1997 when he pinned on my ensign shoulder board. So my brother is really smart, and he's got a science brain. I don't. I'm a policy person. But I just want to tell you what the U.S. government will pay for. Like in his case, I think it added up, it's 11 or 14 years of education, right? The Naval Academy, he went to 2 years of nuke power school. He went to med school, he went to residency, and then he went to a oncology fellowship at the University of Kentucky. And the reason I'm telling you all of this is he thought he could sneak away without a proper retirement ceremony. And I think it's July 1st is his official retirement date from the United States Air Force. Congratulations, Rob. I actually had a plan that Rob and I would retire together, and we were going to do like this sibling. We call each other sibling. We were going to do this sibling retirement. So thanks for ruining the plan and retiring. And I also just want to take a second to introduce Rob's family. So Rob's wife, Beth, Miriam, David, and Ben, thank you for being here. I just want to say for the record as well, I met Beth first, because Beth and her sister Colleen, who was in the Air Force, lived in the ground floor of a Charleston, South Carolina house, and a bunch of my teammates, Coasties, ensigns, lived upstairs. And that's how I met Beth. And I was like, you know, I think Beth and my brother would get along. So I met Beth first, and the rest is history. And I want to say thank you to Beth for all she's done for Rob's career and for our whole family. We have some amazing senior leaders joining us today, online and around the country. Admiral Peter Neffinger, Admiral Brian Penoyer, Admiral Errol Brown, Admiral Keith Taylor, and you all share something in common. You believed in me, and you gave me the space and autonomy to be my own person. In fact, you expected it. And I am certain that it wasn't for every single one of you that I would not be joining your ranks today. I'm a person that doesn't like to be hemmed in, and you all gave me free reign. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be me. And I also want to thank Admiral, has been an incredible mentor to me over the past year on this transition into the flag officer world. Thank you so much, Admiral Sugimoto. And thank you for being an amazing friend and mentor to our LALB team. I am excited to take the reins of CG2 and lead the Coast Guard Intelligence Enterprise and build on the monumental progress that Admiral Sugimoto has made. And I also want to congratulate him on his upcoming command as our next District 11 commander. And a special note to Admiral Penoyer. I get to embarrass you too, sir. Admiral Penoyer and I have worked together since about 2010 when he was a commander, and I think I was a lieutenant commander. And he's actually been putting up with me since about 2010 because I can be a real bright idea fairy. And I'm just going to share a quote that I believe hits at the heart of Admiral Penoyer's impact as a servant leader. And I want to give a shout out to a Coast Guard officer named Keith Pankow that has a podcast called That All Might Be Edified. It's an amazing leadership podcast. And I heard Keith talk about this quote when he was actually interviewing our very own Marcus Boyd. Robert Greenleaf, in his writings on servant leadership, spoke of the quality of awareness. And he said, able leaders are usually sharply awake and reasonably disturbed. Sir, you are sharply awake and reasonably disturbed. You care about people and you continue to drive impactful and massive change in the Coast Guard. Thank you for your leadership as our D11 commander over the past 2 years. And I really look forward to continuing to work with you in Washington. To Captain Ryan Manning, welcome home. I met Carrie Ann for the first time last Thursday, and I asked her how it felt to be back in California. And she said, it just feels right. Carrie Ann, I get you. This place just is a feels right kind of place. And I am delighted that you and Ryan and Maggie and Dane can come back home. And I could not be more comfortable handing the baton to Ryan. You know, as the Admiral talked about, many of you all already know Captain Manning. He's returning for his 3rd tour of duty here in LA, and he has an incredible record of success. And it was just last week, he had his change of command at Activities Europe. They all got on a cross-country flight with 20 suitcases, and literally, no exaggeration, 20 suitcases, and showed up here. He is a distinguished officer who operates at the strategic and tactical levels, and he has a deep, deep knowledge of our marine safety programs. This is his 3rd command tour, and he has done incredible enterprise level work advancing maritime safety and security. And also, I want you to know that Ryan is a rock star. Literally, he is literally a rock star. I've heard him sing Enrique Iglesias' Hero. Yeah, do it. He's offered to do this at the reception and anything else that you want to hear. Ryan is a perfect fit.
Now it's an order.
Ryan is a perfect fit to lead our Coast Guard team. He really is. And join forces with Captain Christy Bernstein, our Deputy Sector Commander. Shout out and a round of applause for our Deputy Sector Commander. Christy reported here in the dark ages of COVID, summer of 2020. And she has been an awesome partner in this journey. Christy, I am so grateful for your advice, your perspective, and your candor. Some mornings she'd be like, Captain, you got that crazy look in your eye. What does that mean? The past 2 years have been hard. They've been ambiguous and challenging for all of us. And you have met all of these challenges head on, all while placing the way. For me is simply about thanks. Thanks for the input that Coasties live on a community. We don't live in a community. Well, you have made this my home. And I'm not going to lie, it's pretty hard to leave. So one of my most favorite things is when my friends get to meet my friends. And that's happening today. And this audience is proof because it takes a village to support me. And you are part of my village. I'm claiming you. But I have here my New Orleans community, my DC community, my Stanford community, Hank, thank you so much for being here. My Coast Guard community, and I am delighted to add to my journey, my Los Angeles Long Beach community. We have something in the military called sponsor families, and there are many families that have made this place home. Susie and Eric Hughes. Hi, Susie. Tony Duarte, Vietnam vet. Marianne Need, Jan and Afra Stenstrom, and the Monk Fitness crew in the second row. You guys have kept me sane and grounded and healthy. And I'm going to tell you a funny thing about the Monk Fitness crew. So we work out a lot by the ocean. You can do that in California. And they ask me the most random questions. They're like, what's that thing on the water? Or what's that thing on the beach? Or what's that thing in the sky? Or what's it doing? And I remind that I am only the captain of the port. Like, I do not know everything, you guys. Not know everything. To our community, our public safety and law enforcement partners, the maritime industry, and all of our stakeholders, there is nothing we do alone. Unity of effort is advantage. And I think I took that phrase from Pat Grandy, our FBI ASAC that's sitting back there. Pat, I'm giving you credit for it. I'm pretty sure you said it, but unity of effort is advantage, and it is our adversary's disadvantage. All accomplishments that were in that award today are a direct result of our partnership. We are better together, from search and rescue to law enforcement, targeting illicit maritime trafficking, the safety of life at sea, the resilience of the entire maritime supply chain, contingency planning, emergency preparedness, and environmental protection. We perform all these missions together and so much more. And besides all of our operational coordination and joint planning, I think what matters most is just being able to phone a friend and get some honest advice. To our sector team and our field commands, I love you all. I tell them this all the time. I love you all and I respect you immensely. You are the everyday heroes in the heartbeat of the Coast Guard. The work of life-saving is not easy. And at the very heart of the Coast Guard, we are a humanitarian agency. It is our job to save lives, to keep lives safe. We are guardians. And like many of our public safety partners, we sometimes, often take for granted that we make life and death decisions every single day. It has not been easy. In fact, a lot of our time together has been downright hard, but we have put our people first. We have lifted each other up every single day. We have mourned the loss of our teammates, Kenny, Ben, and Sam, and we have carried on in their memory as their families remain a part of our Coast Guard family, and we honor and remember their service in life. We have created the space to have difficult conversations amidst national unrest and upheaval, and we have diagnosed our culture, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we committed to creating a culture where we want to thrive every single day. What I love about the Coast Guard is that every opportunity is available to every single service member. The organization is awesome because we lead at every level. There is no restriction, none, to your access to opportunity. It is a service where anyone can do anything. Just a few weeks ago, Admiral Linda Fagan was sworn in as the 27th Commandant of the United States Coast Guard. And Admiral Fagan has made clear, tomorrow looks different and so will we. It is an exciting time to be in the Coast Guard, and I am truly honored to be able to serve as a flag officer at such an inspiring time for our service. It has been my honor to serve as your commanding officer and captain of the port and sharing your journey. A place where people are first, unity of effort is advantage, and we lead at every level. So soon we will celebrate just I guess 2 weeks here, July 4th, our country's Day of Independence. And I encourage you all to engage in conversations about what this means, to be an independent, free nation based on the inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to listen, to acknowledge someone else's experience as a citizen of our country. It is a day to remember and reflect on our values as a nation and the commitment made by our service members to support and defend our Constitution. Reflect and appreciate the sacrifice and commitment of those that have gone before to protect our way of life, and honor those who serve this nation in all capacities. Connect with loved ones, family, and friends, and take a moment to reflect on what it means to be a citizen of the United States of America and a beacon of hope in our world. So thank you all for creating our magical moment. For me, these 4 years with our team and our community, I know that it will continue to be awesome because this is a special place filled with really good people. Be excellent, stay humble, take care of each other. Semper Paratus.
Thank you, Rear Admiral Orr. Guests, thank you for rising. That was the next step. We now welcome Chaplain Payne to deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. Dear God, we honor the opportunity we've had to share these emotional moments, this profound change and development which is going on both in our individual lives as well as the collective life of this sector. We recognize the valuable impact that has been made over these last years, and how Rebecca has shaped the work that's been done here and helped inspire each and every one of us. We're grateful for our association with her. We're grateful for her success and for the Coast Guard recognizing her potential and allowing her the opportunity to continue to make strides into the future, make changes, and bring her personal unique style to benefit the Coast Guard in other ways. We're grateful and hopeful by the new opportunities we have to create new teams, to create new relationships, and to forge the culture which we've created here, to build on it and to allow it to move us into the future, so we don't continually look into the past for success, but we look to the future for that success. Be with us, those who depart, as well as those who stay, that we can have the insight to know what steps we need to take next, to know what's most important, be able to prioritize those things to the exclusion of those things which are not as important. Go with us and inspire us in hope, in joy, and in peace. And as we say, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Payne. Military personnel, attention. Now, Commander, 11th Coast Guard District, departing. And salute. Ready, two. Now, Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach, departing. Now, Rear Admiral, United States Coast Guard, selfie with the audience. Now, Rear Admiral, United States Coast Guard, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the official ceremonies. On behalf of the crew of Sector Los Angeles, Long Beach, thank you so much for attending. Guests, we are all cordially welcome to attend the reception immediately following. Military members, reservation point is now a cover-free zone, and you're welcome to place your covers on the tables that we have set up. There will not be a formal receiving line, but Captain Orr and Captain Manning, Admiral Orr and Captain Manning look forward to meeting you there, and we will have several presentations at the beginning of the reception. Thanks again. Thank you so much for being a part of the ceremony this morning.
Now here you go again, you say you want to free. Well,